Hi friends, I'm back in my shop today and I did another project that I wanted to share with you. So I did a stained glass bison. You can see him over there in my desk. So come along with me and I'll show you how we did it. So I started by drawing up my pattern, and I just take my colored pencils and I scribble some lines in there so that I know which piece, after I cut it out, should be what color and which direction the grain of glass needs to go. And then I chose this brown textured glass for the big main part of the buffalo. And then I used this Elmer's rubber cement there. You saw it pop up on the screen. I'll link that down below. That stuff's great. And it holds the paper on the glass really well, and then it's really easy to peel off when you're done. And then I just take this cool glass cutter. I'll link this down below too. This thing is awesome. I've tried the pistol grip ones and all kinds of different ones. I didn't like any of those. They hurt my hands. But I just, go around the pattern, cut all my pieces out, break them off. Those are those red-handled pliers. Those are Grosier's. And then I grind everything down to get rid of the sharp edges. Dry it all off, and then I place my pieces on my pattern. That's why I make two patterns, so that I got one for layout and one to cut up. And one by one, we get them all done. Ooh, it's coming together. Looks good. Those little pieces of glass right here, I cut those out and then I just kind of shaped them with the grinder to make myself some hooves. And then I cut the tail and the nose with my Taurus saw, and this saw is amazing. You can cut any direction. It's multi-directional. You can get different rings for it so that you can literally go left, right, forward, back. And it cuts like butter. Cut my eye out and the horn. And so the next step is you have to wipe everything down with alcohol. You get all of the glass dust and like the finger oils. Everything has to come off. And this foiler that's popping up here in the corner, this thing I've had for a few years. It's super handy. I've tried different foilers. I don't like any of them. This one's my favorite. And then I take these are actually clay tools, that little wooden hand tool. I use that to kind of burnish the copper tape on. Oh, look, it's me. So once I get everything foiled, I take this is a good hack. So if you have to use flux and you use liquid, these watercolor pens, these are cool. They make all the world of difference when you're trying to flux something to solder it. No more dipping, and you just squish it and flux comes out. So the first thing I do here, after I flux a few spots, is I tack everything together. And I just basically go around to all the joints where there's points where glass meets and tack it together. It's a process. And there she is. So I flip it over, and I did decide to do this side first. So I go through and I just solder it together. And this is going to be freestanding, so I make sure I get a good thick bead of solder on there for some structure. I'm not too bad at the soldering. Look at that. I've seen worse. I've had my days where I could not get anything soldered. So here's a cool trick. When you're soldering and you want like a texture to your solder, and I just thought like the front of this bison is hairy. So I took a sponge, a wet sponge, because you got to keep it cool, and you just melt your solder in little portions there, little sections, I'll say, and then squish the sponge down on it. And there you go. Now you've got like a textured solder which goes along with the glass. Isn't that fantastic? So Quick Clean is this awesome, cool, amazing stuff that I just learned out about last year. And it stops the solder flux and everything from oxidizing. You don't want that. So I want my solder to be like a dark brownish black. So I'm going to mix black copper patina. Just a little bit. With some of this super bright copper patina. And it'll create like a dark brown. So I'm going to put more of the copper patina in than I do of the black. Mix it around a little bit. And then just work it into all of that solder. Wow, that's looking really cool. I like it. I like it. Yeah, and I sped this up just because it's kind of a process. Be nice if it went that fast in real life. And you got to do both sides. So you flip it over, you do the other side, and then you can use the same Quick Clean stuff. Like I said, I'll link that down below. You use that on the patina as well, and it kind of stops everything from oozing underneath the copper tape and under your solder lines. And then you polish. So I just use some like cheap car polish. And you just rub it on, polish it off. Use a microfiber cloth here. Oh, so pretty. Okay, now he needs an eyeball. So this is glass paint that I got on Amazon. I'll link that down below too. It seems to be working pretty well. I've used it a few times and it's holding up really well. And I just took and kind of winged it here. I didn't know what I wanted for an eyeball. But that looked pretty decent, so I left it. Gave him a couple little nose dots for nostrils. And there he is. Alright, so I wanted to talk really quick about this stand that I made for this little stained glass bison. And I just basically took a 2x4 and cut it down to size. And then I did take my router and dated out a groove here for my glass to sit in. And then I wood burned the front of it. Little Aztec print on there. And then I took my torch. And that's how I got that effect on the rest of it, is I took a torch and I burnt it and then I clear coated it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of glass and I'm going to glue it down in this groove so that it sits sturdy in there, and then my buffalo bison is going to attach to this glass. So let's do it. So I ordered these little glazier pieces. I don't know, glaze. I don't know. Way back when, it used to be calling glazing windows, or it used to be called, glazing windows, and that's how they put the glass in. They use these little metal clips, and I ordered them, and I ordered them for a different project, and I was like, maybe I can use them finally on something. So I tapped them in there in the groove because I cut my groove a little bit too thick. And so I dumped some weld bond down in there and balanced my glass, and I didn't have to really prop it up. It stayed. So I let that sit for a day, came back, and the weld bond was all dry. And now my whole plan to mount this thing backfired. So this is me just trying to make this project work so I could finish it, because I planned on welding these little clips on the buffalo that would hang on the clear glass, and that just didn't happen. It wasn't working. So I decided, damage control, I'm just going to copper tape the top of this and tack it in a few spots and say some prayers and hope for the best. So that's where we're at now. So I took my solder and I just tinned all the foil that I put on the glass. Cleaned that off as best I could, and then took some patina and colored my solder so that it wasn't bright, shiny silver. And then balanced this thing on here while I tacked it together. So, and you know what? It's holding up. It works. It's a decoration. It's not meant to be played with. I think it'll be fine. I took more quick clean and cleaned all my flux off those points. And then I took some copper patina and stained those spots so they weren't all bright shiny silver. And there it is. You know, I think it turned out okay. Alright guys, so that's how I made my bison. If you liked it, give me a like and subscribe. Come on back for the next video. I got tons more projects. Yeah. Let's see what it looks like outside. Don't break Mr. Bison. Be gentle with Mr. Bison. Be safe and behave yourselves. Bye. Don't come for me. I think they're called bison, right? I've always called them buffalo, but this is a bison.